Okay, so we're going to talk about radicals. Simplify radicals and stuff like that. Okay. Start by multiplying radical, and let's talk about every day. I'm always introduce you something that's gonna help you on SAT, and so a lot of you guys are gonna take the PSAT soon. But one of the commonest question is this one. So I'm going to show you in a second. But first, let me introduce this rule. Square root A times square root B is equal to square root AB. That's just something very intuitive. Well, square root 2 times square root 3 is going to be square root 6. Square root 2 times square root 2 is going to be square root 4, right? You guys know this, right? Okay. So we're going to introduce you something that's on SAT that's very, very common and misunderstand. And we're going to deal with later anyway. So this is what we're going to introduce you. So we're going to talk about this question. Square root of -5 times square root of -5 is equal to, okay? So everybody have probably a different point of view on this questions. I think were you there when we talking about this? Yeah, so you can not allowed to answer it. But the other day that he was in my calculus class, he can witness this because even my calculus class don't understand these questions. And everybody got confused. So let's talk about this question. And this question is on SAT. Okay, so so you guys think about what will be the answer. Okay, and then you guys gonna take a vote, and you guys gonna convince each other why your answer is correct. Okay, so let's start by thinking about what is the answer. I'll give you 30 seconds to think about the simple answer on this one, and maybe. Some people can. You don't need a 30 second? Are you sure? Okay. So what's your answer?
Well, I got 5.
You got 5. Okay. Anybody have a different answer? Everybody got 5?
He said 5. Yeah.
You got 5 too?
Yeah.
Okay. 5. 5. Everybody got 5.
See something else.
Everybody got 5, right?
I assume it's wrong.
Look at all the people supposed to be smart here.
I'm guessing that is
Yes.
I would have meant some kind of
-5.
Yeah.
You change your mind? Why you change your mind?
I can see
Because
why.
I looked at it again, so I didn't.
Okay. Maybe she's lying.
Oh, no.
Maybe she's like, maybe you're like.
I just did. I just did.
So if I say this, right? Today's pop quiz is worth 40 points, and everybody is based on this grade. Just one question, right? You're gonna stick with your ship, and you're gonna fall. So Josephine,
Yes.
you're 100% with your -5. You're gonna stick with your ship. You're gonna ride it alone,
Yeah.
and then that's my ship. I'm going down with them.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to jump ship to Josephine?
No.
I want to know how she got there.
I
Okay.
can see
Oh,
why,
I know how she
but
did that.
I just did it based on the formula in blue.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
So.
Anybody want to be in Team Josephine? Okay,
Go
Jennifer.
drown.
Jennifer. Okay,
I'll
Benjamin.
join with her.
Oh, Benjamin. Okay.
Are
Oh,
you
no.
kidding me?
Somebody is
Wow.
join your group.
I'll join your group as well.
Somebody join your group.
Betrayal.
I'll be a helpful influence in joining Josephine.
I'm just a
So when you
bystander.
die-
You're just a bystander. As I'm not baiting my grade on it, right? So square root 95 times square root 95. How many people want to switch to Team Josephine? Remember at one time it happened, right? I remember this kid Nick Nguyen.
Yeah.
Nick Nguyen, he got. I asked a very similar question, right? I asked everybody. It's like, what do you think the answer is? And I don't tell anybody. I just kind of like fool around with people and says, oh, maybe you got it right, maybe you got it wrong. But Nick Nguyen was very confident about his answer, right? He's valedictorian for the school last year. He's a very, very smart kid, obviously. So he picked an answer that is completely wrong. But he convinced everybody to go with his answer. and then everybody got it wrong. Okay, and then everybody got it wrong. So you gotta think about, maybe Josephine is wrong.
She is wrong.
We just basically, I mean, I don't know. I guess.
On the-
Make up your mind, Benjamin.
Which team you wanna be on?
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think we're supposed to be talking about.
Okay, so let's get a question. People, let's vote again. Who want to pick -5 with Team Josephine? Raise your hand.
No, Benjamin, no.
Wait, Josephine just jumped.
No,
You?
I didn't. No, I didn't. I said I don't need to raise my hand, right? Because I'm technically Team Josephine.
Oh, Team Josephine. Okay, so Team Josephine. Anybody want to be on Team Josephine?
The worst.
Jennifer was like, I'm stick with Josephine. He's like, I'm gonna go down. Okay, remember that's your grade right now. Your quiz grade.
What?
0 or 40.
Oh God.
0 or 40. Jennifer was like,
Oh,
I'm stick with her. Okay, and the rest of you guys are confirmed with your grade, right?
Yup.
I'm gonna put in 40 points on your Skyward. Or 0. So I'm gonna just put 0 or 40. 0, 40, 0, 40, 0, 40. Maybe there was like 2 zeros, or maybe there
Mom,
was
please don't murder me.
2 40s, right? So, it turns out
It's neither.
Both of us are wrong.
Yeah.
it could be neither. Yes. Do anybody want to pick neither? You switch teams.
Are you kidding me?
Don't worry, I'll stick with it.
No, I'm saying
Okay, so
I'm pretty sure.
so this is an interesting question, right? So the answer is actually Team Josephine.
Yay!
But can you tell me why your answer is correct?
Me?
Oh,
Maybe I can help.
no. She's raising her hand. So what do you think? Why do you think Josephine is correct? Why do you think you're correct?
I think it's because to remove the negative sign, you have to take the I and put it in front of the radical. And then once you do that to each one, you can get I squared to 25 radical, and then it would be -5 because the square root of 25 is 5 and I squared is -1. You multiply those is -5.
Okay, when you?
She's right, but like, I did it a different way and I wanted to just make sure that it's correct. Because what I did is it's a square. You multiply something by itself and it's in the square root, so you just square the square root and you get rid of the square.
Now here's my question. Why does rule lie to me?
It only goes from
Because sometimes there are some exceptions to the rule.
Ah, good. There was an exception to the rule. So there are exceptions to everything. That, about math, like there's a lot of small fine prints, and there's a fine print on those rules that nobody pay attention to. The fine print is this: A and B. So the A and B must not be negative
Oh.
simultaneously. But I'm gonna write, I don't know how to spell simultaneous. It just sounds cool to say it. So I'm gonna say at the same time. Because I don't wanna embarrass myself in front of YouTube, right? So simultaneous at the
Why
same
don't you use your
time.
phone to search it up?
Huh?
Why don't you use your phone to search it up?
Do you want me to draw it out?
Why don't you use your phone, look it up for me? I think
You
that's a good
gotta just go
idea.
to the bathroom first.
Okay, so A and B must not be negative at the same time. One of them can be negative, it's okay. But it cannot be both simultaneously negative. Because simultaneously negative is going to cause the rule to flop. And there are a couple things like this. There's a couple examples why that's not true. So Jennifer actually come out the best answer. The best answer is actually square root -5 can change to
I times the square root of 5.
square root of 5 times square root of -1. And this one's going to be square root of -1 times square root of 5. Okay? So now we have to know some rules for later because this we should cover later. But I squared is equal to -1. I is equal to square root of -1.
Imagine.
So those are the those are the things that you need to know for sure. I squared is equal to -1. I is equal to square root of -1. They're also gonna talk about I to the 73 power. You should know what's I to the 73 power. Later on, we're gonna learn what is I to the half power. Okay, so it's very interesting about all those that usually don't teach in a regular setting. But this is very important because there's a fine print says A and B must not be negative at the same time. Even the newer textbook doesn't write this out, okay, which is kind of scary. So that I think this one is very important. So now square root of -1 is what? This part is what? Square root of -1 times square root of -1 times square root of 5 times square root of 5. This one's gonna be I times square root of 25. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's equal to I to the 2,
Which is negative.
5, and that's equal to -5. Okay, good job, Josephine.
You just did some magic.
You have to stick with your answer. Although nobody on
No,
the
I did
same
say-
ship as you, you have to trust your own.
No, I didn't say.
Okay. Okay, gender period, it's good. Now you guys stick in your own
No.
things. You have to have your own mind. You cannot switch sides. You have to believe your answer is correct. Yes.
So what if the two numbers, they're negative, but they're two different numbers?
That's still not.
You just multiply.
You still have to make sure you get I out first
Uh-huh.
before you.
And you just multiply the two numbers regularly?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is on SAT questions a lot. Okay, so you have to understand that's the thing. Okay, so those are the things that you need to pay attention. So I kind of every day I introduce something new. So although we cover something that's simple, but we still introduce something new. Are we okay here?
Yes.
Okay. So SAT question that's involved. Now, we're gonna erase this part. We're gonna we're gonna write down all the perfect cubes, perfect squares. So 1 square I write on the other side, but I'm gonna rewrite again. 2 squared is equal to 4, 3 squared is equal to 9, 4 squared is equal to 16, 5 squared is equal to 25, 6 squared, if you know, you don't have to write down 36, 7 squared is equal to 49, 8 squared is 64, 9 squared is what? 81, 10 squared is equal to 100, 11 squared is 121, 12 squared is equal to 144, 13 squared is equal to 169, 14 squared is equal to 196, 15 squared is equal to 225, 16 squared is equal to 254, 17, 18, 19, 9 important, 20 squared is equal to 400, 25 squared is 625. So you need to know all the perfect square of this. Your life is a lot easier. Yes? Okay. Okay, so your life is a lot easier if you know all the perfect square, even 25, 20, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, because especially 13 and 13 is very, very often when we use a special triangle like 5, 12, 13 triangles on pre-calc. So also know the cube, 1 to the cube is equal to 1, 2 to the cube is equal to 8, 3 to the cube is equal to 27, 4 to the cube is equal to 64, 5 to the cube is equal to 125, 6 cube is not important, 1 to the 4th power is 1, 2 to the 4th power is 16, 3 to the 4th power is 81, 4 to the 4th power is 254, 5 to the 4th power is 625, and 1 to the 5th power is 1, 2 to the 5th power is 32, 3 to the 5th power is 243, I think. Okay, so those are the common used one. I will kind of refer this back and forth and make sure you guys know this. So let's talk about the simplified radical. Simplified radical that says square root of, 72. Okay, how many of you guys know how to simplify square root of 72? If you don't know, I'm going to teach you. Don't know? All right, good. Okay, Ria? Yeah, what is square root of 72? No. The girl in behind you. What's your name?
Rhea.
Ria, right?
So when you do 3 to the square root of 8,
3 square root of 8, okay, but that's not the most simplified. Now that's not the most simplified. Who else? I know you know. I'm gonna call someone else. Macy, what do you think the answer is? Okay, so you guys have to learn it quick. So I'm gonna teach you a smart way and a dumb way, okay? Which way you wanna learn, that's fine, doesn't bother me. Either way is okay with me. I'm gonna teach you a smart way first. This is the way I prefer, but you have to be good with number. You have to have all this number by your heart, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at 72 on the squares. So if I don't write anything here, this means square roots. So this is called common radical. So this is a common radical, which is equal to square roots. Okay, so this is common radical. So now I'm gonna say, okay, 72. 72 is the easiest way to think about this is to go to 72 here. So this is 81, so you square root, I'm gonna go to square. I'm gonna go to 72. Which number can divide by 72 from the biggest to the smallest? So obviously 72 has in between those two numbers, so I'm gonna start looking from an a squared. So 64, can I divide by 72 to 64? 49? No. 36? Yes. So then I can break that up, square root of 36 times square root of 2. We talked about this rule, but we never talked about that rule can go backwards, which is that rule can go backwards. So therefore it's gonna be 6 square root 2. Are we okay here? Now, I'm gonna show you a dumb way. How many people prefer a dumb way? Raise your hand. It's okay, that's not saying you're dumb. Okay, that's fine. So we're gonna show you a dumb way, right? I'm gonna tell you a story. One year I decided to say, I need to make extra money, so I'm gonna teach summer school. And that was my worst decision ever. Okay? So I teach summer school, the average GPA in that class is 1.2. Okay? So you think about 1.2, that's like roughly nobody, they probably have 1 C, and every rest will have F or D's and stuff like that. So it's really scary class. So I go in that class, right? I was like really upset because I get those people drive on my nerve. They do something called spitball. I don't know if you guys seen spitball. That's like middle school, right? Middle school, they chew the paper in the straw and they shoot it out. And I'll be writing on the board, and I'll see a spitball stick on the board.
My school has never done that.
Oh, you're lucky.
White middle school.
Huh?
I said I went to a white middle school.
Oh, okay.
Sour cream.
So that day, like, I pick up a desk, right? I pick up a desk, I just throw it across the room, and bounce off the wall and hit it on the floor. I was so upset because the kids throwing spitball. And after I did that, nobody messed with me again. Because they didn't, like small, scrawny Chinese guy able to throw a table across the room. So I kind of earned my respect that day, right? It's flying through everybody's head too. It's like, and it's like everybody's like, and the head on the ground and the bend forward. Okay, so that day I was talking to some students. So I said, so I was teaching radical like maybe like 2 weeks later, and they're all like struggling with radicals. So this radical just doesn't make sense to them. I said, okay, well, I was listening to their conversation, and they were like saying, okay, they will have this regular conversation. It's like, yeah, trap houses, come to my trap house, and I'm like, what is a trap house, right? So I got to like my ones to say, hey, Rakim, I said, can you tell me what's a trap house? It sounds so interesting. You guys have discussed about this. He's like, well, the trap house means a bunch of people doing drug in the house. Huh? That's interesting. Okay, don't do drug, by the way. And then I say, well, are you sure this was? And he's trying to sound like a more PG for me because I'm a teacher. He said, well, those people doing drugs in the house, but they're surrounded by cops, so they're okay, you're okay, And so they were telling me this, I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So I say, and I got an idea, so as I start teaching this, I say, so well, just think about it radical, it's a trap house. And I say, okay. And this two cops is outside, right? 2 cops is outside. And I said 72, I said you can simplify this. You do something called prime factorization. you start with a small number. You don't start with 8 or 9. You start with 1 or 2. You don't want to do 1, you do 2. If it's even number, you do 2. If there's anything added to be multiple of 3, then it's multiple rule of 3, then that's fine. So 72, you can do 2 and 3. So I will do 2. That's going to be 36. Remember this? Prime factorization. 2 and 18. Remember this? And then 2 and what? 9. And then 3 and 3. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we just think about those like different race that is this house. And I'm not going to be racist, so I'm going to put my race in there. So I said there's like 3 Chinese guys here, right? And they need to make friend or 2 because the cops is 2. They see the two cops outside. So they need to make friend with those 2 people, and then they be buddy with each other. So they need to try to escape this house. So when they escape this house, one person can get shot. They die. Okay, so there's only 1 survivor. So therefore it's gonna be 2. Okay, so the 2, this group come out, it's gonna come out with this because 1 of the 2 is gonna die. There's only 1 survivor the whole time. And then this Chinese guy have no friends because the rest of the 2 black guy here. And he's like, okay, well, the other 2 Chinese guys already go away, and he's kind of left alone. So he was trapped inside, trap house, see, trapped inside. And then there's 2 black guys here. They make a friend, and they come out, and 1 person gets shot. But those 2 are multiplied to each other, so 2 times 3 is equal to 6 square root 2.
So they multiply.
Yeah, they multiply. They go outside, they build a new game, right? So don't do drugs, don't do games.
I think this is the best lesson.
Huh?
I think this is the best lesson.
This is the best lesson. Okay, so do you understand this? Okay, so this will work with cube root 2, 4th root, 5th root, because if the more the index, this is also called index or roots, so this is called square roots. If I have third, then it's going to be third roots. That means some number multiplied by 3 times is going to be like this. So it will work on that too, because if you have 3 cups outside, you need a group 3 friends together. Again, there's only 1 survivor. 2 people's gonna get shot. Okay, so don't do drugs.
Or else you might get shot.
Oh, you might get shot. Right. So so you have to know how to simplify radical, right? So we're gonna try one. We're gonna try a couple. We're gonna try with something that's easy. So it's gonna square root of 48, and we're gonna go to the cube root. Cube root of 128. So we're gonna talk about those 2 questions, and then you can go back and refer on this. So make sure you know how to simplify radical, because simplify radical is gonna be a key. We have to be able to rationalize it. We have to be able to multiply, dividing, adding, subtracting. We're going to talk about a lot of SAT questions about this. Remember, we're still not in pre-calculus yet. We're still covering all this basic foundation stuff so we can do a better job on the basic tests. And then we're going to cover pre-calculus. We're going to cover way faster because we're going to talk about all this thing in a much faster speed once your foundation is built. So we're going to stay in Algebra 2 roughly almost 8 weeks. 8 weeks to 9 weeks. Okay, so other people might be doing pre-cal and stuff like that. Don't worry. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to catch up everybody very fast if we build this foundation correctly. It's like kind of like playing soccer. I only pay attention on footwork right now. I only drill you on dribbling. Okay, we're not worried about kicking the ball. Kicking the ball is the last thing you need to do. You just need to learn how to dribble the ball, right? If you know how to dribble a ball, then that's how it matters. So square root of 48, do you guys got it? Okay, for me, I choose the easier way. I choose the, looking at this number, I know it's not 49. I know it's not 36 because 48 does not go to 36, usually half. So 25 is not able to go in because that's more than half. 16 would be a good thing. So this one will be square root of 16 times square root of 3 That's equal to 4 square root of 30. Are we okay here?
Yeah.
You can use the dumb way, which is the trap house way.
Dumb, you mean fudge?
The fun way. Oh, we're gonna call it fun way because dumb they would be like, I don't want to be dumb. The fun way, yes. So a lot of time, like I think is much better. So the cube run, right? You have to be careful, right? So the cube one, I'm gonna use the cube. I'm gonna go with 125. Do you see why I go to here instead of here? Because this is a cube, so I want to use cube root. So 125 is not a good choice, but cube root of 64 is good. So that's equal to the cube root of 64 times cube root of 2. And the left now with the 4 cube root of 2. Do you see that? Or if we prefer to do the fun way like Benjamin suggested, I'm just going to do it really quick. It's kind of fun to do. So 48, you can do 2, 24, 2. And I always do 2 first. I just make my branch of tree is more in like one directional. I don't like spread it out. It's hard to find those branches. 2, I do 2 and 3 first, always. And 6, and then 2 and 3, right? So those 2, they're gonna come out, escape. So there's only one survivor.
A lot of people get shot.
Yeah. And then now this is times. Although plus is gonna be the same answer in this case, but it's kind of risky. So it's 2 times 2 is 4 to the third. And cube root of 128, same thing. That's gonna be 2, 64, 2, 32, 2 and 16, and 2 and 8, and then 2 and 4, and then 2 and 2, right? So now you need to make how many friends? There's 3 cups. There's 3 cups, so you need to make what?
Groups of 3.
Groups of 3, good. So this is gonna be group of this 3, and this is me, and no friends. So
That's me as well.
and but at least I don't get shot. So when they get out, there's only one survivor. When they get out, there's only one survivor. And then, yeah, so this one, that's gonna be me inside, but it's gonna be 4 to the third root of 2. It's not the square root. You can cube root of a negative number, but you cannot square root of a negative number. That's something that you need to know for sure. So you cannot square root of negative number, or you can odd roots of negative number. I don't say square root, sorry, let me say even roots. Even, you can do even roots of negative number, but you cannot do, I'm sorry, you cannot do even roots of negative number because that's gonna give me I, but you can do odd roots of negative number. So you can do odd root of negative 8. So like cube root of negative 8 is okay. So it's negative 2. But square root of negative 8 is going to give me I, which is that's cause confusion. Understand?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, so we're going to put all this rule in combination. We're going to talk about simplify, and we're going to talk about multiply rule. So we're going to do this question. So we're going to deal with these questions here. So can you erase this part?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I have a lot of terminology in this class. I also have a gang sign too.
Really? I would like to.
Yo, I want to see that.
When we get to there, we'll talk about it. Okay, so this is what I want to say. 16x to the 4th times by 16x to 4y to the 3rd times by 3x squared y to the 8, something like that. So I want to simplify this radical into one radical and then trying to extrapolate, take it out as many x and y number from the radical. So, and this is a very simple one, this is back in algebra 1, and we can simplify this, but hopefully this time you can do a better job. And we're gonna talk about dividing rule as well. Now, we also deal with the exponential rule before, right? So x to the 4 times x to the 2 is gonna be what? Right, so those are things you need to pay attention to. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna multiply the constant together. 16 and 3 is what?
48. 6 y.
So it would be 48, x to the 6, y to the 11, right?
Yeah.
Again, this is just same thing, negative variable. So this is kind of like x times x times x times x times x times x. Those 1 group, 2 group, 3 group. You know, all those 3 group come out. One's gonna, all those, each one from individual is gonna get shot. So you're left with the x cubed. But you got y. Now I'm just writing it out visually. Normally you don't have to write it out, but I just want to make sure that you see this. Remember, the cube root will be different. Cube root you want to do 3 instead of 2. So this is square root is common radical. So it's going to be y to the what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? 5. And then that's going to be 48. There's one y right here. I can put a triangle on that. Now I can simplify the square root 48. Well, 48 we know is what? 16 times 3, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be 4x to the 3, y to the 5. And then left with the what? 3y. And that's my most simplified term. Question about this part. So this is algebra 1 still, so we are covering this very fast. We're gonna go through addition, multiplication. So can I erase this part? Yes.
Can I simplify first and then, like, could I take out the square root of 16, x4, x1, 3, and then whatever I have out, I multiply by whatever I have out.
That's fine. Whatever is easier for you, that's the way for you to do it. Now for me, I just usually deal with what's my first intuition, whatever's easier. It's easier for me this way, and I'll just multiply this way because I know.
Wasn't it easier to take smaller numbers?
No, it really depends on your preference. Some people would prefer one way to do it the other way. Math, there's no one way to do things. There's the shortest way to do things, but there's no one way to do things. So you do any way, as long as you get the same answer, I'm happy with it. Okay. Can you erase this part at least?
Yeah.
Because this one you should have a copy done. So the rule of this one, square root A over square root B is what? Square root of AB, right? Now sometimes it's easier to do it this format, sometimes it's easier to do it this format. We're gonna talk about those. For example, square root of 20 over square root of 5. Which way is preferred?
It'd be easier to do
The one on the left.
Or can I simplify square root of 20?
let me,
You could, right? But the work, so let's talk about the method 1. So square root simplify square root of 20, that means 2 times 5, right? So that'll be 2 square root of 5, right? over square root of 5, and that's simplified down to 2. But can I write it this way? So square root of 20 over 5,
You can simplify that.
square root of 4, that's also equal to 2. So for me, I like the second route because it makes my answer much more faster. Although it's, it kind of, you seem like there's more writing, but it's harder to simplify square root of 20 rather than just 20 over 5 is 4, square root of 4 is 2. So this way, depends on which preference, sometimes easier to do one way than the other way. Okay, there's another one. Why is this? Square root of 36 over 49. Now, which way they prefer? They prefer to go this way instead of this way. Do you see that? Math is both ways. I can break down to 36 and the square root of 49, and that's equal to 6 over 7, and that's my final answer. Question about this part? So multiplication, division, and you still should follow the exponential rule, and then we can go from there.
We keep the first one.
Huh?
Keep the first one.
You can keep this one, because you gotta study for the next test. And if you need to come after school,